Catholic faithful in Mekeo celebrates 135 years of evangelization. ABG to consider court action for outstanding grants. And Powi calls for partnership to improve law and order.
This is National EMTV News with Lorraine Genia.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome. This is Sunday's news. Andrew ONeill from Mekeo Village is the newly ordained Catholic priest of Karikuhiri District, Central Province in the Bougainville Diocese. In Awaya, Holy Rosary parishioners and faithful joyfully celebrated his priestly ordination, which coincided with 135 years of evangelization since the first missionary contact on ONeill Island in 1966. Eric Harupma witnessed the ordination and files this report.
Priesthood is a call to one bearing witness to the gospel of Jesus Christ, spreading God's love and making His kingdom come. It was historic for parishioners from 15 parishes of Bougainville Diocese. They witnessed one of their young men, Deacon Andrew ONeill, consecrated into priesthood life. Main celebrant was Bishop of Bougainville Diocese, Rokus Tatamai, who vested his blessings to Deacon Andrew ONeill in the Holy Eucharistic celebration.
New priest to the diocese to support us in our pastoral care for the people. We are very few in terms of local diocesan priests.
Bishop Rokus said the priesthood ordination is timely when the church celebrates 135 years of evangelization and is important for families to enter into the sacrament of reconciliation.
Developing the minds and the hearts, hopefully we can have people that can be able to regard each other as friends. Fellow brothers and sisters, and this is the quality of the Christian message.
Father Andrew thanked God for gift of courage and wisdom.
As I said, it is a gift from God, and so I accept this gift.
After the ordination, gifts were presented by parishioners from ONeill Island, Perina, Veifa, Waima, Kanosia, Onongay, and Inawaya. They thank God for giving them a priest who will save his people. One of them was Karikuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo.
It's a learning example for many of us and for those locals who have been ordained earlier, and for Reverend Father Andrew ONeill today.
Eric Arupman, National EMTV News.
The autonomous Bougainville Government will not hesitate to take the national government to court if it fails to pay its outstanding monies. President Chief John Momis says the national government for so long has breached the Bougainville Peace Agreement by not honouring its commitment. Momis's warning comes following huge cuts for the autonomous Bougainville Government in the 2016 national budget. Fabian Hakelitz has more.
The Bougainville Peace Agreement is a contract signed between both parties, national and autonomous Bougainville Government. But since PNG's autonomous government was formed in 2005, the agreement hasn't been fully honored, especially with matters relating to grants. According to President Chief John Momis, the national government owes the ABG 635 million kina, mainly on restoration and development grants. Despite repeated requests, grants have not been paid up, and President Momis warned ABG will have no other option but take the national government to court. He says his government badly needs these funds. It constitutionally and lawfully belongs to the people of Bougainville. Meanwhile, President Momis described the 2016 national budget cut as a killer to the Bougainville Peace Agreement. This will affect the ABG budget as well. Momis said the national government has an obligation to fulfill and is to honor the Bougainville Peace Agreement. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Still in Bougainville, cocoa growers in the Torokina District, South Bougainville, are determined to restore cocoa production in their communities. A baseline study by NGO World Vision found that as a predominant cash crop in the area, rehabilitation of abandoned cocoa farms can be a way to improve livelihoods.
Over 500 farmers in Torokina are now participating in a program to rehabilitate their abandoned farms. The program is a partnership between the government and World Vision with financial support from the World Bank.
Nurseries, big nurseries, and 5 wards in Torokina, and then when the plants are ready to be planted, then the farmers work with World Vision, our field staff, and the Department of Agriculture and Livestock to plant these new seedlings.
The cocoa pod borer devastated the cocoa industry in PNG. In Bougainville, 100 million kina industry stood no chance to the onslaught of a tiny insect. However, efforts are underway to bring the industry back in the region. Under this program, clones of high-yielding cocoa trees are distributed, along with skills and techniques on how to manage them.
There's a difference between the old cocoa pods and the current cloned ones. It's more tight and there's more seeds inside, so they are bound to get more out of the current the clones that they're going to be using.
While the project is still in its infancy, farmers are determined and hopeful that Torokina will once again become a major cocoa supplier in the region. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister Peter ONeill has emphasised that taking views of non-APEC countries into the APEC process is important. He made the comments following the first APEC leaders meeting with the Pacific Alliance, a grouping of 4 Latin American countries working towards greater economic integration and development. Mr. ONeill also welcomed discussions with counterpart economies in extending APEC membership.
On Wednesday, Philippines President Benigno Aquino III hosted a welcome dinner for the economic leaders of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC. The president's gift to the leaders attending the APEC summit was the Barong Tagalog, the official national attire for Filipino men. Prime Minister Peter ONeill said the issues that affect the Asia-Pacific are felt beyond the 21 APEC members, so it is important that their voices are also heard in APEC. He said issues such as access to global value and supply chains, non-tariff barriers to trade, and connectivity are important to our Pacific Island states. Mr. ONeill said the time was right for a renewed discussion on the expansion of APEC membership. Speaking at the final meeting of APEC leaders, the Prime Minister also highlighted the seriousness of climate change in the Pacific and the danger faced by the smaller Pacific Islands. Following the meeting, Mr. ONeill and the United States President Barack Obama agreed to continue to address these issues when they meet at the United Nations Climate Change meeting in Paris, France later this month. Mr. ONeill thanked both the presidents of China and the U.S. for taking leadership on the issue of climate change, saying he looked forward to the solid outcomes from the Paris climate change talks. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
The New Britain Highway has recorded its first accident, with 1 person dead and several others injured. The accident occurred along a remote section of the highway between East and West New Britain at 3 a.m. on Friday. Kokopo police have confirmed the deceased was a Kokopo Business College student who was instantly killed after a hire car carrying drunken students, all from West New Britain, overturned several times while rounding a corner. The deceased's body is now at the Nonga Hospital morgue for a post-mortem. Meanwhile, police have arrested the driver and he is now in custody. On a similar note, a landowner group along the New Britain Highway has forced the highway's closure from public usage. At midday on Friday, 12 hours after the accident, debris and huge logs were placed across the road at Tok just before the wet crossing at Pandi River. Siuko Landowner Group Chairman Anton Katol said instead of the assigned route, commuters continue to use the shorter route which runs through their villages. Mr. Katol said the safety of commuters and locals remains unguaranteed. The Siuko landowners say the highway will remain closed for an indefinite period for negotiations to proceed with the East and West New Britain provincial governments. You're watching National EMTV News. More other stories right after these messages. Stay with us. Corey Marga, this year's Education Role Model winner for the CPL Pride of Papua New Guinea Women's Awards. Mrs. Marga, a teacher, was recognised for her distinguished services in various primary schools around the country. She has taught for over 42 years.
Mrs. Maraga started a teaching career in 1973. She has taught some of PNG's leaders like Bank of Papua New Guinea Governor Loy Bakani and Vanimo Green MP Belden Nama.
Being an educationist is a lifelong profession because God will always create an opportunity and present a person anywhere, anytime for you to mold and shape.
In 1995, 12 years after teaching, Maraga furthered her studies at the University of Papua New Guinea and graduated with an education degree in 1997. In the years that followed, Maraga served in the education department, taking up various consultative or facilitator roles in different organizations. A recognition to the Pride of PNG Awards for Women came as a surprise to the Maraga family.
That through this award and through this project, that the dreams of women in Papua New Guinea who want to save their own people can be extended and recognized and realized.
The Education Role Model Award is one of the 6 awards in the CPL Pride of PNG Awards for Women. Under this category, CPL recognizes one woman each year for their services in educating children in their communities. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Southern Highlands Governor William Powi says leaders and people of the province will work together to maintain law and order. Governor Powi says law and order is a critical agenda that will be the focus for the Southern Highlands provincial government.
For the past decade, Southern Highlands Province was labelled as one of the country's crime-ridden provinces. However, the opening of the new district and national courthouses in Mendi last Friday signifies the start of a new era for law and order in the province.
We no got peace and stability. No matter how smart your policy is, how brilliant you are, service delivery in a chance by the power of the place. That's true, huh?
In 2010, the Southern Highlands Provincial Government and the Justice Department made a commitment to establish a national court registry in the province. This was to curb the increase of crime rates and improve law and order.
Southern Highlands has improved in a very big way along peace and stability, although we are not there yet, but we've made significant progress.
Chief Justice Salomo Injia, who officiated the opening, said in order for the province to improve its law and order, the police and the correctional services must be professional in maintaining the rule of law. Salomo said this will encourage the locals to work with the law and justice sector. Meanwhile, a sum of 1 million kina has been allocated for the construction of the judges' residential complex that will be built next year. Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
Residents along Tarma Road outside Port Moresby are asking if the national government will compensate them when the new 4-lane road is constructed. Their concerns are of assets in properties and land which will be cleared to make way for the new highway. Structures like trade stores and permanent houses near the road will be removed.
Sharon Rex from Western Highlands Province has been residing in Tarama Rabi Block for nearly 3 years. She acquired a piece of land measuring 30 meters by 20 meters at a cost of 30,000 kina from the local landlord in early 2013. After 3 years of landscaping, building a house and setting up a trade store, Sharon recently learned about a new development that will run through 3/4 of a purchased land. Sharon is among hundreds of others who will be directly affected by the proposed Tarama 4-lane road.
Although the road become, but maybe I expect him this 4 lanes road, and maybe I expect him 2 lanes as well. But somehow I'm more can put him back. House do I blow me straight and maybe I can have no good name just have.
The road, which measures 40 meters wide, will run through existing infrastructure. These permanent houses and trade stores will be removed. The road will cut through customary land. Many of the residents told EMTV News they prefer a 2-lane road instead of 4-lane. The roadside residents say City Authority, NCDC, has failed to carry out awareness and they are in doubt whether the land and properties will be compensated.
Wasn't me plan kat big plating din lotis la. But all like walking 40 meters inside. 40 meters short kata gan mol. Ximo kata ground finish so me plan one bell.
Quinten Alom, National EMTV News.
The Bougainville Executive Council has appointed Paul Kebori as Acting Chief Secretary and Head of the Bougainville Public Service. Bougainville President Chief John Momis said Mr. Kebori will be acting until such time the substantive office holder resumes duty or for a 6-month period. It is understood the Bougainville Executive Council's decision is a direct result of a petition calling for an investigation into allegations of misconduct by the Chief Secretary Monovi Amani. And to overseas news now, a week after the tragic Paris attacks in the French capital, a group of heavily armed skilled gunmen stormed a luxury hotel in Mali. The armed men held a 7-hour siege in Bamako. Although 27 have been confirmed dead, the death toll is still uncertain as the hotel is doing a search on all its floors.
The armed men, believed to be a jihadist subgroup of the Islamic State, stormed into the Radisson Blu Hotel in Mali's capital on Friday. The armed men entered the hotel's inner compound and set off a chain of grenades and gunshots on a killing spree as they entered into the hotel. After the open ceasefire on the hotel's security, the armed men captured hostages along the way. It said around 170 victims had been held hostage. Many were foreigners. Most hotel staff and guests were freed after the Malian Special Forces, French and American Special Forces stormed the hotel to end the siege. The attack left 7 wounded and 2 attackers were found dead. The hotel was hosting delegations attending peace talks. The former French colony had been battling Islamic extremists with the help of the United Nations and the French forces. Mali has declared a 10-day state of emergency and 3 days of national mourning. Marilyn Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
Now we'll look at some sporting action over the weekend in Trukai Sports next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Now, PNG Hunters players have been given opportunities to play with rugby league clubs overseas. Players, however, will first go through trial matches before the final selection. These are positive steps under the Hunters Development Program, and one of them is to create pathways for players to compete in high levels of competitions.
With just 2 years competing in the Interest Super Cup, the PNG Hunters have shown progressive signs, with players being given the opportunity to trial with NRL clubs in Australia. Hunters forward Kato Otio is in Australia trialling with the Canberra Raiders, and Warren Clare is bound for the Cronulla Sharks for training and trial engagements. Freight train Willie Manoka has been consistent and a valuable impact player off the bench for the Hunters. He is listed to play for the Townsville Blackhawks in 2016. There is also talks that Captain Israel Eliab may be bound for England next season. With these local players being presented with such opportunities, PNG RFL Chairman Sandy Saka said, "This goes to show that we have raw talent here in the country, and with avenues such as the Hunters and Kumuls provide a good platform to see our players have a shot at playing rugby league at the highest level." Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
And in the National Soccer League, PKA Rapatona claimed their first win with a 2-1 victory over Erema FC today. Erema striker Tau Winnie made a return after a 5-year absence with the opening goal. However, strikes by PNG under-23 stars Patrick Isa and Petishen Elijah sealed the deal for Rapatona. As it stands, Hekari is leading the Southern Conference after a 4-2 win over Gigara, while Lay City Dwellers are at the top in the Northern Zone. Well, that's a wrap on Trukai Sports. All your weather details up next. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
And your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow: Port Moresby, Keraman, Popondetta mostly fine, fine and dry for Daru, and fine weather in Alotau. And all other centres expecting mostly fine weather. Before we go, a missing child was found outside Port Moresby this afternoon. Identified only as Tom from Chimbu Province, the 5-year-old boy was found by Poka Kadekani and his wife at 17 Mile.
Suppose you say to your parents or your family or relative, or say beginning, you say them talking about family view na, or said parents you come to 9 Mile opposite or Monia Gate or 9 Mile Quarry, na come say to Simu Block na ask him or community lab or some driver blo 9 Mile Quarry community truck named blo driver and Poka Kadekani na you ask him more now and then maybe I can reasons that beginning come back lo Pamablo beginning but other.
That's how it is this Sunday, the 22nd of November 2015. You have a pleasant working week ahead. On behalf of the EMTV News team, good night.